Um, I'm a little bit frustrated though. I'm annoyed actually. I'm annoyed because let me tell you why I'm annoyed, and then you can have your whole rant. I know there's a rant coming. Okay, I'm annoyed because I thought the game yesterday at the Camp Nou was interesting. The football was interesting. Frankfurt played quite well. I thought their counterattack was. I mean, actually could have been better. I actually can nitpick a little bit, but it was great. Kostic was amazing. I haven't really seen that guy play much, and I was thoroughly impressed. And then we also have this really awesome Champions League to talk about. Atletico Manchester City was one of the most entertaining 0-0s, and Real Madrid beating Chelsea, or losing to Chelsea but progressing. That also was a very highly entertaining game for neutrals, Madridistas, anti-Madridistas, everyone. But instead, we got to talk about this silly thing about fans in the Camp Nou and all great PR, great marketing, great distraction. It's not about what happened on the field. It's their fault. It's because, and let's not forget, it was the Barca fans' fault more than anyone else. Laporta's like, we'll make sure this never happens again. What is he going to do? If Barca fans sell their own tickets, how is he going to stop that? Like, and honestly, this is the perspective of the Barca fan. From what I understand, I won't know this actually as well as you do, Diego, so maybe I shouldn't speak on it too much. But from what I understand, a Barca fan can look at their ticket and be like, I could watch my team play in the Europa League, or I could just make 250 euros in a second from a Frankfurt fan who wants an experience of the Camp Nou for maybe the only time in his life. So here, I'll sell it. And then, but apparently like everyone did that. And so that was what happened last night. But that's what we're talking about. Xavi's comments to me were just pure delusion and unnecessary. Like, it was unnecessary fuel like, no one even started that fire. He was asked about it, and then he could have just said, well, congrats to Real Madrid. But he went out of his way to say, well, in Catalan, we would not tolerate this. And like, dude, first of all, maybe you're right. Maybe that's for another episode. But look, Barca just came back off of a shithouse win over Levante at the end where they did not play well. And they celebrated like crazy. And it's like, what, we can't be happy after not playing particularly well against Chelsea because we advanced in the semifinal. Like, what do you want us to do? Not celebrate?
No.
We spent
those statements have been taken out of context if that was your takeaway. But I think that's for another day, man. But I understand that it was easy to make fun of what he had said and of the whole situation.
So, I want this. I'm annoyed at myself because, as you know, I have to rush to the airport, and this is like the last podcast I want to rush to the airport for because I could literally probably unpack this with you for 4 hours straight. But I did just want to say, like, you talked about the fluctuations and the I don't know anything about Bitcoin, but I actually think that that's a really good analogy, the fluctuations, almost like of agendas, of narratives, of momentum. And I think if I came to a couple realizations. One is that I think, and I'm not necessarily going to say that this is only a Barca thing because it probably applies to Real Madrid too, even if we don't want to admit it. But I think one of the things that people were really making fun of and retweeting was PK's "we're back" tweet, Barca is back or whatever after the Clásico, and everyone was like, "You sure?" So, and that got me thinking. Like, I think Barca measure to a certain degree, they measure success too much with how they do against Real Madrid, and it's like, and I'm just like, does it? Of course, Real Madrid did not enjoy that Clásico, and I'm sure, and of course Barcelona enjoyed it, but you gotta, like, that's not like the be end all. Like, and I also want, and I'm also wondering myself, like, how much do Clásicos matter? If you think about that 16-17 Super Cup where Real Madrid outplayed Barca over 2 legs, what happened after that? Barca won the league, right? And we won the Champions League, whatever. But that's just something that happens every year. But the tide, like, we all came away from that Super Cup thinking, wow, this Real Madrid team is unstoppable and Barca are declining. And that's not what happened. You know what I mean? And Barca had a rough start to the league from what I remember that year too. And so my question is, how much do Clásicos actually matter? It matters for like a few days of like momentum and swinging our dicks around. But in the grand scheme of things, like, these are the games you have to win. And So I wanted to just point that out. I don't think it's like, as much as Real Madrid fans made fun of the PK tweet, I think it does apply to Real Madrid too. If like Real Madrid won Clásico 4-0, they'd be gloating as well. But ultimately, we got to win the trophies.
The funny
right?
thing is, this reminds me of a conversation I had. It was 2001. What did Madrid won the league and the Champions League? Was that a doblete year?
No, but you didn't win a double.
No, you won the league.
2001. I'd have to look. That was the Champions League winning year, wasn't it?
That's what I thought. So, Barca, we won the Clásico in the Bernabeu, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
I was living in Madrid that year, and I was studying at Syracuse University at the Madrid campus, and
was that the same year when
security guy?
Sorry, was that the same year when we almost talked about that Lazio Real Madrid game at the Bernabeu? Same year?
Yes.
Figo's first season then, which means that was a league-winning season, but not a Champions League winning season.
Okay. Yeah, so it's Figo's, And I was all like sticking, it was me living in Madrid, Barca fan. I had like, little piques, little, what do you call them? Like little verbal battles, like, with
banter.
The locals, like with the guy at the cafeteria. And one of those guys was a security guy at that university. And he was a big Madridista, and we would always, just be talking shit and laughing. And we had just come off of beating Madrid, and I was obviously sticking my chest out about that. But then Madrid ended up winning La Liga, and he said to me, "Look, I'll take it any year if we get to win La Liga and you guys win the Clásico. You have that little moment of glory and a few days of boasting over us, but in the end we walk away with the league." And I was like, yeah, well, yes, of course, I would take that as well. Just to reiterate that point that you're trying to make, that, a Clásico, what does that mean in the end, right? If you don't end up winning the main prize, the main objective, the main trophy, which is whatever,
It's not nothing. I mean, let's be honest. Like, I would say
good for bragging rights. That's all it is. That's like you said, swinging the dick around a bit.
But of course, also it does have title implications, one way or the other. Some Clásicos don't matter from a mathematical standpoint, but some actually really do. And I would definitely argue we remember our trophies more than, like, I don't remember that Clásico loss you're talking about, but that also was, I guess, 20 years ago. But I remember trophies more than I remember Clásicos. But of course, if they're scarring enough, I'll remember them. I remember 6-2. I remember 5-0. I remember 4-0.
Of course.
And I remember those as well. But ultimately, I think, Real Madrid fans will say, whatever, man, you can have your 4-0 Clásico trophy. We really enjoyed you guys losing to Frankfurt, and we're now in the Champions League semifinals. That'll be the banter back and forth. It's all good.